Good morning, everyone. A good Erev Shabbos. We are going to share with you a Devar Torah on this week's Parsha, Parshas Emor, that revolves around Bitachon. At the end of the Parsha, it speaks about the mitzvah of Shabbos, keeping and guarding the Shabbos. It speaks about all of the Moedim, all the Chagim, all the festivals that we have, Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot. Speaks about Rosh Hashanah, speaks about Yom Kippur. Of course, there's Chol HaMoed that's involved also on the Sukkot and Pesach, the 7 days in between. And a very interesting question arises, or perhaps an insight that we have to think about, especially in terms of our world of Bitachon. We know that we mentioned over the months that we've been learning that there is certainly a mitzvah for a person to hishtadlus, to make effort in the world of parnasa, to make a livelihood and sustain themselves. We can't just sit in a room all day long and say Tehillim and think that the money is going to rain down from the heavens. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to see us make the effort to be able to bring about some kind of parnasa. However, we recognize at the end of the day that the Rabbi Shalom himself is the one that is funneling in all the money from Shemayim to us. Now comes a person to a Shabbos, and he has to close his business from sundown to sundown. The business is closed, and he can't even have it run by a non-Jew on Shabbos. He has to keep it closed completely. Comes along the Chagim, the festivals, Sukkot, which is the first day and the last day. In Chutz La'aretz, it's 2 days in the beginning, 2 days at the end, plus a whole week of Chol HaMoed, 7 days in between. Then you have a Shavuos, which is another 2 days. Then you have Pesach, also, which is 2 days in the beginning, 2 days at the end, and the 7-8 days in between. You have many, many days of Yom Tiv, many days of festivals. Even on Chol HaMoed, a person really, according to the letter of the law, should not be working, should not be going into the office. Rosh Hashanah, 2 days, Yom Kippur, 1 day. There are a lot of days that the Torah requires us to take off from our efforts to make a livelihood, from our abilities to rake in the dough, as they would say, to be able to support our families. It's actually one of the things that Haman HaRasha, the wicked Haman, teased the Jewish people about. Every time he said, we need you to work, they said, no, Pesach Hayom, Shabbos Hayom, no, it's Yom Tiv today, it's Shabbos, I can't go to work. So the Jewish people can't work because we're keeping the Torah. A person whose mind is focused on making a living, a person who wants a livelihood, who wants a parnasa, so the Torah itself is coming as a direct contradiction to the world of hishtadlus, of effort that I have to make. Because there are so many days out of the year that I close the business, I don't go into the work, I cannot be involved in my money-making skills or my money management, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu says it's a holy convocation, it's a festival, and on those days no malacha, no work is going to be done. So the amount of bitachon that it takes for a frum Jew to be able to sacrifice their livelihood for the sake of the Rabbi Shalom is something that is a big job and a task for each and every one of us. Because if a person has to close his office, even if perhaps he's in the midst of making a big deal, but Shabbos is coming, I have to go home and get ready. And if I keep the business closed the whole week of Chol HaMoed, but I know that there's other people that are in that same particular field, and they're working during that week, not talking about the Jewish people, talking about the non-Jewish world, they're working, maybe they're going to take my business. It's okay, because I trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means that the bitachon, the trust that a person has in the Rabbi Shalom is so great that it overrides any hishtadlus, any effort that I have to make. And I say to myself that as long as I am keeping the Torah to the letter of the law, I will not lose out. I have nothing at all to worry about. It reminds me of a story of one of our Malabatim, maybe about 30 years ago. The family was becoming Bali Tshuva. The parents were not from, they were becoming Bali Tshuva, and they were bringing the younger children along as well. And they had already gotten to the point where they were keeping kosher. And they got to the point where they were keeping Shabbos. And Yom Tiv now was the next thing on their list to keep it completely. Now we know that outside the land of Israel, every Yom Tiv is 2 days instead of 1 day. So the husband said to his wife, listen, I'll keep the first day of Yom Tiv. Shavuos was coming. I'll keep the first day of Yom Tiv. The second day, there's no way that I can stay home. I'm a lawyer, and they are taking a vote in the firm who's going to become the next partner in the firm. I'm up in that vote. And the only way that it's possible that I could win is if I'm actually going to be there, because we have to have the negotiations, we have to speak, I have to present my case. I've got to be there and work. And the second day of Shavuos is the day in which the firm is deciding who's going to become the next partner in our firm. So his wife, who's a tzadikis and a real Yirei Shamayim, a God-fearing woman, she said to her husband the following: HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes care of our parnas, of our livelihood. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the Torah. And coming up is the Yom Tov of Shavuos. Hashem wants us to keep Yom Tov in the proper way. And she said, you don't have to worry. You keep Yom Tov the way that we're supposed to, and you leave the rest in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now the husband fought back and forth with his wife, but in the end he saw she's not backing down, and so he was resigned to stay home for the both days of Yom Tov and not be there while they were voting on him whether or not he should become a partner in the firm. He kept 2 beautiful days of Yom Tov. He learned, Baruch Hashem, he grew, he had tremendous cheesecake, ruchnias, you name it. When Yom Tov was over, he receives a call from one of the partners of the firm, calling to wish him congratulations, because on the second day of Yom Tov, when he was in shul, and when he was home enjoying meals and singing songs about the beauty of Torah, he was voted in to be a next partner in the firm. Like his wife said, you do for Hashem, you trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Don't worry, Hashem takes care of everything. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do for you. So with all the Shabbos and all the Yom Tov and the Yom and the Rayim and everything in between, a Jew never has to worry. You take off of work, you'll never lose a penny from keeping a Shabbos, nor will you lose a penny from keeping Yom Tiv, nor will you use a penny for closing your office during Chol HaMoed. Hakol b'yedei Shamayim, everything is in the hands of heaven, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu certainly will take care of the person who takes care and honors Hashem. Have a wonderful day.